7:46, back here on International Day of Happiness. Well, we'll see how happy you are about the federal budget that was released for 2019 yesterday. Alex Rivard from the Political Science Department at UBC joining us right now to break things down. Great to have you here on the show, Alex.
Thanks for having me.
The first-time homebuyers incentive was big when we heard about what they did with the budget. What does this mean for millennials and their wallets?
Ultimately, the details of the plan are kind of obscure. We don't really know. But looking at it specifically from the Lower Mainland perspective, I'm not sure how much impact it's going to have for millennials. There's two ways that this is supposed to help millennials. The first is that it's supposed to help defer the price of the house by about 10%. The second way also is that it allows millennials to withdraw from their RRSP from 25,000 to 35,000. On the second point, I don't know how many millennials have 35,000 in RRSPs lying around. And on the first point, when you look at the qualifications for getting that program, you need a combined household income of under 120,000. You also need to have the 5% down on a house. With those qualifications, I'm just not sure how far that's going to get you in Vancouver.
And I guess this is the thing with the budget. As you point out these details, you hear about incentives, but there's a lot of fine print that you have to read to qualify for these things. And I was thinking about housing supply of people wanting to stay here in BC. This is a 9-year window to get these housing opportunities for those that are struggling to get in.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned it there, you mentioned supply. There's not much that the federal government can actually do in terms of supply, so this actually kind of attacks the demand side. So we're actually not even sure if this is going to affect supply, so it's more likely there is a possibility that it could even increase houses in the long run, housing prices rather in the long run.
Okay, so that's step one. The other, there was a desire by some to have a national pharmacare program. What did we learn from the budget?
We learned from the budget that the budget gives about $35 million to it, which isn't a lot. It's laying down the groundwork for where we're going in the future. It seems like an election budget in that way that this really wouldn't surprise me if the expansion of the pharmacare is on the next Liberal platform come October.
What about seniors? I mean, low-income seniors, the possibility of retirement, what life will look like once they walk away from work altogether. What did we see from the budget? So
seniors are another key demographic, especially for the Liberals. Polling has shown that, like millennials, senior support for Liberals are decreasing. What they've pledged to do in the budget is they've tried to allow seniors to keep more of their money. So low-income working seniors aren't going to have their GIS clawed back as much. So what's going to happen is that this should allow them to live in more security. That's what the budget is saying anyways. So it should keep their pocketbooks a little bit bigger.
Okay, that's going to help their wallet.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is the opportunity of job retraining.
Yes.
What did we find out from this plan with opportunities for skills to be increased?
So the budget says that each person is eligible for about $250 in credit per year for a lifetime maximum of $5,000. Again, kind of vague. We don't know how this is going to interact with already existing provincial plans. But what is an interesting idea from this is that there's kind of like an extension to employment insurance, where if you need to take a leave to get further training, your benefits are increased so that you can still, pay rent and make ends meet while you're getting training for a new job.
Overall, when I looked at this budget and hearing the statements being made, they're claiming that it is there, that there's a benefit, something for everyone. When you look at it on the whole, who do you think walks away a winner in 2019 with this budget?
I'm not entirely sure. I think when we look at this, to me, this seems like a government budget going into an election year that's trying to appeal to everybody. I think millennials win, maybe outside of Toronto, Vancouver, when it comes to the housing market. And I think the push is really on that pharmacare plan, which I think is going to come in October. So who wins? I'm not entirely sure, but it seems like the push is there that if you want to win more, vote for us in October.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously an interesting one with election year. And a big topic, I don't know how much you can comment on it, was climate change. And I was looking at the electric vehicles and incentives of what's involved for people to change their habits. Do you see anything there that was notable?
I believe there was a kind of like a $5,000 tax credit if you buy an electric vehicle. That's a really interesting incentive idea from the federal government. I know the Quebec government offers something similar as well. Of course, a pretty significant issue with this is that the overall cost of these cars aren't cheap as well.
Yeah, the threshold I saw was $45,000 or less on retail value. We had the Hyundai Nexo on the show showcased yesterday, and these cars are pushing $70,000, so it's hard to get these incentives if you want to change these habits.
Yeah, I can't see a lot of middle-class individuals going out there and being able to put down money for a $75,000, $100,000 electric car.
A lot of factors to consider. Alex, listen, thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your insight on the budget. We'll be talking more about it as the show goes on. After the break, we'll get you